sense that there is a great economic distress in India and also problems with social advancement because of this faith-based ideology that is ruling the government at the center.
Right.
And now we find that the RSS ideology has crossed the border into
coming here.
the Tarai of Nepal as well as into the hills of Nepal. And so what you're saying that it'll take a generation to overcome what the RSS has wrought in India, particularly North India. We have to be very alert in Nepal that doesn't happen to us, because besides the fact that it leads to enormous human distress and marginalization, it'll impact our economic growth and prospects as well. One last question from me. If you could bring alive to us, Harsh, when you visited the families of mob lynchings in Assam, in Assam and in
all over the country.
All over. But you particularly visited UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, Karnataka. Give us a sense of what you found in those families, because if we're talking about the marginalized, your campaign is to bring out the distress of the marginalized so that it can be addressed, then the most marginalized of the marginalized would be the families of those killed in mob lynchings.
See, please understand firstly what mob lynching is and why it is different from any other kind of violence. See, we've had large riots, but जब बड़ा riot होता है, गुजरात में भी हुआ, और it is limited to a geographical location. It has a beginning, it has an end. Lynching breaks all of that. So, or lynching is actually a performance of hate.
Performance of hate.
And now, it really started in Jim Crow's America, late 19th century America. What would happen would be that a black African origin man would be taken. Whole families would gather with their children. It was like a picnic, and thousands would watch as they torture him. They cut off his fingers, they cut off his genitals, and then they hang him from a tree. Now, those lynchings over 60 years, they were just 3,000 or 4,000 lynchings, but it's the kind of fear and hate that it led to was unbelievable. In India, that is what has happened with lynchings. And let me just explain. One boy. See, here the crowds don't gather in those numbers, but you have the video camera. Every single lynching is videotaped by those who have committed the lynching, and they circulate it to millions. And what they watch is that हमने उसको पकड़ा, and then we beat him, and I find it this long period, and the person is begging and begging. बहुत खून जब बह जाता है, one of the last things happens is कि he begs for water, और आप पानी भी नहीं दिया. इस हालत में हम उसको ले आए. It is that performance, and I therefore felt that there has to be a performance of love. And that is the only way we can counter it. And that's how the idea of Karwan-e-Mohabbat started. Said we'll go to the home of every person who has been lynched. And we'll go not even as a human rights worker or a fact-finding, or just like you would go to a loved one. आपके घर में हुआ, आपके दोस्तों में हुआ, साथ में रोए. That was where it really starts, sharing the pain. Secondly, seeking forgiveness. Third was that a pledge that whatever happens, we will be with you. We'll pick up the pieces of your life as you fight for justice, and we will tell your story. ये एक जर्नी से शुरुआत 2017 में. I made a call. I used to still have a column. I wrote there. Many interesting people gathered, and we started our journey from Assam. Actually, the idea was Assam in the east, and we traveled across the country wherever there was lynching, and ended up at Porbandar, where Gandhiji was born. But it was one journey, and then I've done 100 journeys since then. The government has, attacked me. charged with every crime. I'm not allowed to receive funds from abroad or within India. We're sending pensions to 100 widows, for instance, across the country still. And people send money. It's like a miracle. Every month. I said that I'm doing this for all of us. It's not just for me. So people send money. We're fighting 150 cases. All of this is being supported by people who. So it's really a caravan of love from all over sides. The specific answer to your question is this, that हम लोग जाते हैं, people say कि काश बस गोली मार देते, क्या काश बस छुरा मार देते, इतना torture करके क्यों मारा? Each one is a slow torturing death. And while thousands of people watch, I mean, just really in Delhi, there was the Ganesh Pandal. There was a young Muslim man who's somewhat mentally challenged, and very poor guy. He came out on the Pandal, there was a banana as prasad. He picks it up and eats it. And this crowd gathers and they turn him upside down, they hang him and they keep beating him and he's screaming piteously. For 2 hours, 3 hours, I went where it was and I was stunned because it was in the middle of this, it was a gali ke beech mein, at least 5,000-10,000 people would have passed, seeing him scream and scream and scream. Not one person intervened. और वो फिर जब फाइनली उतारा, खून बह के, over a few hours he died. Now this is and what its impact is, जैसे एक लड़के को, जुनैद लड़का था, he got lynched on a train in near Delhi. Every young Muslim man I've met across India says डर लगता है, ट्रेन में जाएं तो डर लगता है. माँ कहती हैं कि मैं फ़ोन करूं तो सलाम अलैकुम नहीं कहना, किसी को पता नहीं चले कि तुम मुसलमान हैं, किसी बातचीत में शामिल नहीं होना, पॉलिटिकल डिस्कशन हो तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं शामिल होना, डर लगा रहता है. दैट इज़ व्हाट I'm eating, I don't know who will come in and check what meat I'm eating, what's in my fridge. I have a relationship with a friend of another religion. I don't know who will say it's love jihad and I'm going to be, it's this that has, India, Arundhati Roy, the writer, she's a friend, she'd written, and she's very good with words, of course, and she said, Harsh, the period for warnings is over, it is upon us, and we have to resist in the ways we can and bear witness. But the second line was very easy. She said, however, depoisoning a river is not easy. There goes the rest of your life and mine. It is about the rest of our lives. और आप लोग अभी वहाँ पहुँचे नहीं हैं, अब आप रोक सकते हैं, नहीं रोक रहे हैं. ऐसा मुझे दिख रहा है, इसलिए मैं यहाँ आता हूँ, ये कहने के लिए यार, बचा लो अपने आप को. वो जहर इस तरह का है कि जितना वो आपके रूह के अंदर घुसता है ना, you hate Muslims more than you love your children. I cannot find a better summary of what has happened.